Hello, my name is Daisy,
Hey, my name's Alyssa.
and this is
Terrifying Talks.
Midnight creeps and shadows fall, whispered secrets through the walls. Ghostly figures start to sway. Tune in now, don't be afraid. Terrifying talks tonight. Chill your bones till morning light. Spooky tales to make you jump. Heart beats fast with every thump.
Welcome back, Terrifying Talkers.
Hello.
If you are new to the podcast, welcome. I hope you enjoy listening to our yapping. Make sure you like, subscribe, follow us on Facebook and all our other socials. And if you're not new and you're back, welcome back. Thank you. We appreciate you. And yeah.
Yeah,
How you doing?
I'm feeling good.
Feeling good.
Yeah. I feel like lately when you've been asking me, I've just been like, nah, man. Not good.
Not it today. Not it today. Maybe not it tomorrow.
But today's okay.
I'm trying not to tap my head well. For people who don't know, I got my hair braided and it looks really good, but I need to put oil in my hair and it is itchy. So if you hear like some tapping,
Just like
banging on the head, it's probably me. Just a heads up. All right. So do you want to name this one off? We're on episode 9.
Yes, we are. Episode 9. And this one is called Touched by the Afterlife.
Ooh, sexy. All right, let us get started. So we picked a couple of movies. We're doing 3 this time because Alyssa made me watch the most dumbest movie
Look,
in the fucking world. And so we cut it out for this podcast. I know last week we said we were going to do it. It was Dead Girl. I think I don't know what year it came out, but
I don't
made me watch
remember.
it.
All I remember is I watched it in middle school. I was like, wow, this is so cool.
First of all, I watched the movie literally this morning, to be honest. And that was the stupidest fucking movie I've ever seen in my entire life. And secondly, why was Alyssa watching this movie in middle school?
Look,
It was dumb.
I can't answer why I was watching it in middle school, but I was. And that's the last memory I have of it. And then I thought maybe it would go well with this podcast.
Absolutely. This was the stupidest fucking movie. So I told Alyssa, and she had the same thought. So it worked out. We're just deciding we're going to cut it from the podcast. Maybe we'll use it for
something a little more fitting down the road.
Yeah, but not for this one.
No.
So we're doing 3 this time. So hopefully this is a shorter podcast episode for you guys.
Long lately.
I think we just got a lot to talk about, though.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah,
we never.
We
shut
get
up.
off topic a lot.
Well, I
try to get off topic.
I try to cut some of it out,
and it's still long. That's the thing. Okay, we'll jump in. So basically, we're going to be talking about horror movies where, like the title is, you've been touched by death. So the first one we started off with is Pet Sematary. But instead of the original, we decided to do the newer one because I just feel like this one was kind of different from the original. It came out in 2019. Unsure if I said that already, but it's about a couple who discovers a mysterious burial ground hidden deep in the woods. When tragedy strikes, they realize the cemetery has other intentions, bringing unspeakable evil to their doorstep.
Ooh.
I have watched this when it first came out, and I think, honestly, if I were to rate it right now, I think I'd give it a 5 out of 10.
Really?
Yes. Even Mr. King himself said it was kind of a shitty movie. Quote me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure he said like this was literally a stupid fucking movie, and it doesn't go based off the original, and I don't
So
believe
he
it
only
also goes
thinks
by the book.
the new one was a shitty movie? Like he still liked the original one, or?
I believe so.
Okay.
They just changed a lot in the movie. Like, for example, I believe the little boy's name's Gage.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't die in this one. He has the older sister. The older sister dies. I think that changes the whole dynamic of it. To be honest, I think when you have your youngest in general, or just your kid in general die, I think it's obviously traumatizing and all that stuff. But I think in this movie, changing that dynamic just made the movie a little bit different because she was able to actually walk and talk and show. It's just like different between like a toddler, and I'm pretty sure he was like a toddler.
He was young for sure.
Young for sure. Like, yeah. But to be able to I think she was between like maybe the ages of like 8 and 12. I feel like somewhere in that range. I'm honestly not too sure. We briefly, like I said, I watched this a long time ago, and then I briefly watched it when I could. And yeah, that's really all I gotta say before we get into questions. What about you?
You kind of summed it a lot of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The plot twist was pretty good though.
Yeah,
Toward the end.
I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah, I think that was pretty there. I think if you think about it, it's kind of scary to think if there was like a cemetery where you could bring back the dead, but it's like, and they come back alive, but they're not themselves.
They're not them.
But you would think, I understand like grief and stuff, but I wonder what goes through the, character's mind, like, on a realistic level, that they won't, like, knowing the world and knowing, whatever you believe in. I feel like there's still, if you're bringing someone back from the dead, I feel like that's still on the line where you have to think about the consequences of bringing that person back to life.
Because, like, everything happens for a reason.
Yeah.
That's one thing, because they brought the cat back first on accident, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what I don't get is, didn't the cat kind of show signs of not being the same after that?
I'm pretty sure. I think he was a little more like aggressive.
Yeah. So it's like, if you start to see changes in your cat, why would you think it's a good idea to do the same thing with your kid?
Yeah.
Like, I guess, granted, I don't have kids, so I can't fully understand, but in a way, like, putting myself into their shoes, I could see the hope in doing it.
So I understand, like, grief is such a crazy thing, and I think we've, like, all experienced it at one point in our lives, and I think having a child and experiencing grief is on a different level. So I think me being a mom, I probably honestly lose my shit and probably do the same.
Yeah.
I wouldn't think about those consequences, but at the same time, I think my thought process would be, what would those consequences be? And at that point, would it be worth bringing my child back, knowing that something might come back and it's not my child? You know what I mean? If I could guarantee it would be my child, then I feel like that'd be a different story. But I think she was buried for a little bit before, they were like, yeah, we're going to bring her back to life. And it wasn't even the whole family. I think the mom ended up leaving with the baby, and it was just the dad, and dad, I don't remember if it was dad or the neighbor who did it, because he was also feeling grief.
Well, in that one scene, it kind of made it seem like
he was, right?
Yeah, unless he was talking about someone else.
I don't know. Maybe are we like unprepared, not fully rewatching?
With this one, yeah.
Probably.
With the rest of them, nah, I watched those last night.
We're last night prepared.
I tend to do that a lot. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but this week there was 3 movies that I had to rewatch. Well, 2 that I definitely had to watch in general, and then 1 to like kind of rewatch.
Yeah.
And yeah, stuck with the two that I definitely haven't seen. I tend to do that.
That's okay. We're all here for it. We can move on. Do you wanna
You want
ask
to do questions?
Yeah, we can do the questions.
Okay. Who were the kids in the mask in the beginning of the movie?
Okay. I think they represent something for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not 100% sure who they are, but I think it's supposed to be like a like how do you say it?
Representation?
Yeah, you got me, girl.
I always do.
Yeah. Of like what that cemetery's supposed to be.
Yeah, like a
'Cause
little
they-
warning sign a little bit.
Kind of, because they seemed like they knew what the cemetery did because they had the dead, their dead pet, I'm assuming, and like the bear, what is it, a pushing barrel?
Oh, like, yeah,
Like
I know
a
what you're
gardening
talking about.
barrel
Like a
or whatever.
wheelbarrow or something.
Yeah. So I'm gonna assume that that was something they already knew, and maybe it was kind of a like a suspense, like leading up to
Mhm.
the tragedy and stuff like that. But what do you think?
Yeah, I could see it being like kind of a warning or like a
Do you think it would be a warning because they're doing the same thing?
yeah. Like, I mean, if you come across kids and they're doing the same thing that you end up doing, I feel like maybe not warning, foreshadowing.
Yeah.
So I feel like that was supposed to be like for the foreshadowing of them.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't know why they were wearing masks though.
I don't know either. Maybe it's like a whole. Maybe there's more to the cemetery than
Yeah.
what's perceived.
Isn't there another new one? Pet Sematary Bloodlines?
Yeah, I believe there is. I think it's on Hulu.
Maybe that one will dive deeper into it.
Maybe.
'Cause I haven't seen that one.
Yeah, I haven't seen that one either.
We kind of already answered this one.
Okay.
Knowing the original movie, Gage dies. How did you think the story changed when the daughter died instead in this movie?
I think the whole thing changed. I don't remember. Was there two kids in the original?
See,
I don't remember.
I don't remember either. I thought it was only the one
Wow,
kid.
we're terrible at this job.
Look. We picked the newer movie, did we not? Did we pick the older movie? No. So why would we go back to reference that one?
Because it's in the question.
You came up with the question!
I just work here. I literally just work here.
We don't even get paid.
I didn't say it was a good job. Just kidding. Yeah, I don't know. I think it changes the whole dynamic. I don't remember, like I said, if there's two kids in the original, but I think the age difference definitely has a bigger aspect. I just want to put out, I don't know if it's just me being like very cautious about, things, especially now being a mom, I have so much anxiety. I think if I lived on a busy road like that where I knew semis are passing like every single day and they're driving crazy and, in that nature, that I would put a fucking fence up for my
Right.
kid, let alone two young kids. Because I think the whole plot was like you're expecting Gage to die, and then the girl dies, and so I think that was a plot twist for sure for me. Yeah. So, but yeah, that's just me. I'd put a fence up.
I
think that's super ballsy as parents not to put a fence up when you have two young children, a very big yard, and very curious children. For
next to a very busy road.
Yes. I've always not wanted a house on a busy road. It's not.
I feel that.
Yeah. But what about you? Oh, we kind of talked about it.
Yeah.
Like you said. Do you want to move on to the next question? You got anything to add?
Not really. We can move on.
Okay.
Do you think if there were limitations on the road that it would have never happened? I mean, I feel like
we just talked about this too.
Yeah.
I think it's important. First of all, we talked about this last week.
Yes.
Road safety is so important. It doesn't matter if you're walking on the road, if you're in a vehicle or anything. I think it's always, important to realize that even slightly looking on your phone is so, like, it can cost, people's lives. And I think I know it's just a movie, but I definitely feel like if there were some limitation and people really followed, like, road rules, or even going, you know, beside roadside safety and stuff like that, like, they could have put up a fence. They could
Yeah.
have not. I feel like it's so weird because you obviously don't want to blame the parents because they just moved there. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? And they were having their barbecue for their home. But if you're having a big party and you do have these kids and you don't have the fence yet, like, what precautions do you take to be a good host, but also paying attention to your kids? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I don't want to sound shitty to, like, them as parents, because I'm a parent. And I know it's just a movie, but I don't think I'd want someone to do the same thing to me. But I just feel like a little bit is just kind of common sense when you have young, curious kids like that. You know?
Mhm.
What do you think?
Yeah, I think any type of caution, whether it's from the drivers on the road versus the parents, or, I mean, they could also, like, teach the kids, don't just run into the road.
Yeah, true. 110%. Fuck them kids. Those kids are dumb. Just kidding. I'm kidding.
But, like, it could have definitely been prevented.
Yeah, for sure. I think there wouldn't be, obviously, a movie without.
There definitely wouldn't have been. Or a book. Because wasn't it based off of the book?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I obviously, the character's got to be a little.
Right. Like, it has to happen in order for there to be a movie and book and whatever. But from a realistic standpoint,
I think there's a lot of more people in reality where they're like, okay, kids, you know better.
yeah.
Don't run in the street. They'll probably have a fence up, and all that good stuff. So, I don't know about roadside safety, though. I think everybody kind of drives.
Crazy.
Yeah, I think everybody has their own little tendencies, and, yeah, which is unfortunate for some, but shit happens sometimes, unfortunately. So
It does.
yeah.
Yeah.
What did I told you I rated this a 5 out of 10. How do you feel about it? Do you rate kind of the same
Yeah.
thing? Yeah.
Maybe 5.5, just because, like, I like the graphics.
Okay, yeah. I can see that. Yeah, I think for it being a newer movie, I guess that'd be a fair point. Yeah. All right, we can move on. So the next movie we are going to be talking about is Flatliners. And once again, we did not go with the original. We went with the newer version.
Which I'm glad I asked you, because I was about to watch the 1990 version, because it was the first one that popped up, and I was like, but I was trying, I don't remember what I was watching it on, but I think it was one where it was going to be on Amazon Prime, but they confused me sometimes, because it was like, buy or rent, and I was like, if you're on Amazon Prime and I have Amazon Prime, why do I have to buy or rent you? So then I was like, I'm going to my other app that I just watch movies on totally legally, and so I went on there, and when I typed in Flatliners, 2 of them came up, and I was like, which one are we watching?
Yeah, so I chose the newer one. I've never watched the original.
The original has Kevin Bacon in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe I guess I gotta watch the original.
Right.
Maybe it'd be nice to compare them too.
Yeah.
So this one has, like, really good actresses in them.
They
I know Nina Dobrev, I think her last name is in it.
Look, all I remember her as is Mia from Degrassi.
And Ellen Page, who is now Elliot Page. Yes. So so we chose the newer version, 2017. So if you don't know, Flatliners is about some medical students who experience the near-death experience that ended up involving in past tragedies and stuff like that, present, or mainly past tragedies, until the dark consequences begin to jeopardize their lives. I taught Silas. This is a little off topic, but we did that. I taught Silas how to do this. Ooh, ghost. And so she'll say it in her little voice, and it's super cute.
That's so cute.
I love her. I really like this movie.
Oh, me too.
I thought,
but at the same time, I was over here like, why would y'all? Why?
okay, to be fair, another reason, right? Grief, so weird. And she
Like, I understand her standpoint, kind of, somewhat, but the rest of them, like,
I think
y'all really wanted to risk that?
I think a lot of them too wanted that academic,
right? Because
like,
she came back
it.
a little bit smarter.
A little bit. I think she like
a lot of it
came back like fucking smart as balls, and you fucking part of her brain open basically. But yeah, I think grief is like a really strange thing, and she did that for that reason, and the other ones had their like own little awkward weird reasons for doing what they were doing. But I liked it. I liked the characters. I loved the acting. I loved how everything played out. I enjoyed the ending. I loved the plot twist. I loved their tragedy stories of their past and them being able to go through it and not just be forgiven in some sense, but to also forgive themselves. Um, I think it really gives the characters like a character development. And I think it, when movies, especially like horror movies, they show that. I think it's really cool to see, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I kind of don't, I get but don't get from the movie?
What?
So, they obviously, when they go under, they slightly start to face, like, whatever happened in their lives that have made them live with some guilt.
Yeah.
So what I don't get is when they come back and whatever guilt is following them, like, manifests into something real. I don't understand, especially because if all of the whatever they did, how two of them had actually killed people, so like there's actual ghosts, but then the other two, the people that they wronged were still alive. That part confused me because I'm over here like, it makes sense if there were ghosts and stuff to be malicious, but the maliciousness with the ones that were still alive didn't make sense to me. Because I'm like, how does that happen?
This is how I saw the movie when they flatlined, right? So it kind of talks about it too, where there's a middle before seeing something in the afterlife, okay? So what I saw it as is that they, I'm going to put it in words where I feel like it's super simpler to like understand. That is the course of you going to quote unquote heaven or hell, or peace and, you know, not peace, or whatever the case is, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you're stuck in this fucking nightmare forever, or you passed along in the light, or whatever the fuck, whatever you believe, you know what I mean? So I think that, I wouldn't say it would be a ghost per se, but maybe like a, you know, like the Christmas Story with what's his face, Scrooge, right? And he sees like the past, present ghost, or whatever the fuck. I think it's like something like that, but for your guilt. And I think that's supposed to haunt you, so it can determine that, you know.
So do you think the stuff wasn't actually happening then? Like, do you think it was all in their mind?
I definitely think so, because I think I'm not too 100% sure on this, but in the movie, the main character who does the whole thing, what was her name? It was Charlotte or Caroline?
God, I just watched it last night.
It starts with a C.
It does start with a C.
We're gonna call her C. I don't know why the fuck I can't remember it. Anyways, main character. She's recording herself, and she's like seeing those hallucinations of her sister and stuff, but that stuff doesn't reciprocate on the camera. So I definitely think it's all mental
okay.
hallucination.
Okay, that makes more sense then, because that's what I kept battling with while watching it was, is this actually happening or is it just in their mind?
Yeah, I definitely think that. We go on with questions. Yeah, I have the question right here.
Cool.
I
You
can
can
read
go
them.
ahead.
Okay. Our first question is: our brain is active for 7 minutes after death. Do you think this is what is experienced? What is experienced? Do we think it's their consciousness? Do we think each experience was different based on who they are as a person? And how do you think the experience reflects the person? So this was kind of a big question. Sorry.
I mean, it definitely, their experiences were 100% different. Like, I'm pretty sure her name was Charlotte, but we'll still go with C just to be safe. Like, during the end of it, she was just walking with like what looked like a galaxy of
Yeah.
nothingness.
Yeah.
And so that, I don't know exactly what that was representing for her. But then with the dude, who I also don't remember his name, and I just watched it last night.
Honestly, over our heads, to be honest. What
I'm
can I
very
say?
bad with names. But like with the dude, like he was cruising around on a motorcycle with,
The chick in the back.
yeah. And
He's baby mama.
exactly. But so his was definitely different from hers. And then
So it's definitely something reflected based on
yeah, it's
their
based off of
experience.
their experience.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't assume it would be on everybody else's experience, but just in the general, it's something they were in it that reflected them.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know what I also kind of didn't get? They had like fairly good experiences, and it seemed like they just kept getting worse and worse. Like, the girl that Nina plays,
Mm-hmm.
hers looked awful. Hers was like
Yeah, hers
her
was
almost
just
drowning.
maybe it was just something really deep. Like it depends on the trauma and
Like
how
how
they.
bad your guilt is.
Yeah, because
Maybe.
main character. So see, I'm gonna look it up because now I'm kind of getting pissed that I don't know these fucking names.
I want to say her name was Charlotte because when they started calling, I could have swore it said Charlotte popping up, but I could be wrong.
Okay, Courtney.
Bro, why are we wrong?
I knew it started with a C. Okay, so Courtney, Ray, Marlo, Sophia, and Jamie. So Ray never did.
Ray was the one that just kept resuscitating them, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Jamie is the baby mama one. Sophia was the weird, oddly haircut girl. And was fucking Jamie like a crazy
Oh
person.
my god, that was
so
crazy.
funny. That was so fucking
Her
funny because her
mom,
mom
bang,
was
bang,
banging on
bang,
the door.
bang.
Open this door! I thought that was so funny. And then Marlo is the one who plays Nina. And Courtney is Elliot Page. So I think I for sure believe that Courtney felt some guilt, but I don't think it followed her as hard as Jamie's and Marlo's.
I feel like Marlo's for sure because it seemed like
that's like her whole career.
exactly.
Well, because she's even said it before. She lied to Ray about it, and it really you could tell how it stuck with her and how bad. And then when Ray finds out that she lied about it, she was just like, "This is my career. Like it's, you know, I didn't want that to be the end." And they're young. They're like maybe in their 20s, 24, whatever the case is.
However young doctor people are.
Yeah, I think out of all of them, because Jamie definitely represents a lot of like, and it goes on in the movie where they're, you know, these rich kids or whatever, and Marlo definitely goes deep in and was like, I had to protect myself, which I feel like a lot of rich people do. So,
yeah.
It definitely shows on their part, but, I definitely believe that, they're how many ever minutes they're dead or whatever flatlined, definitely reflected on who they are and what personally, like, I think it definitely has to do with their consciousness because don't think they would have felt, that scariness or whatever lurking around if it wasn't for their consciousness. But for the first part of the question, our brain is active for 7 minutes. Do we think that that's what they experience? I think it's partially what they experience.
Yeah.
People speculate on those 7 minutes would be all your memories, and you would think, I know Courtney goes on and says that she's seen the roof, and
she's never seen the roof before.
Yeah. So I think it might be a little different,
a little mix of both.
Yeah, where it's your memories, and I think, like I said, a lot of it probably has to do with your consciousness and what you've done, because I think because Courtney passes on, she, dies. It shows that she's in the light, she's at peace, I feel is what was represented. And she's telling Marlo, you have to forgive yourself to move on. And I think that's also kind of in the mix of what I said, that middle base of being able to move on or not. But
you know what I thought was crazy?
What?
How Marlo said she had to get it all to stop. I thought she was going to go confess, but no, she just went and flatlined again to go talk to the ghost.
Which is crazy. Maybe that's something she needed, though, to not personally say it out loud, but to say it to him.
Maybe. But also, was that actually him, or was that still all in her mind?
Well, I think it's still definitely all in her mind, but I think she didn't, she wanted to, for forgiveness and stuff like that, but I think she just went about it in a way where she felt where she thought that was the right thing to do instead of ruining my career. But, Okay, next question. Ready?
Yes.
Do you think they felt guilty because they were experiencing weird, scary things, or that they were generally feeling guilty?
I think it's all something that has been in the back of their minds.
Yeah.
I don't know about Sophia, because I feel because hers was when she was in high school still. And
to be fair, she, in the movie, she's presented as this really what do you call it, preserved girl. In a way. She's very to herself, she's very follow the rules, those type of people who are just to themselves, are really determined in their work, and just really want to make their parents proud, never want to disappoint, and I think it shows in the movie too. So I think hers were just kind of based off of her, that was the worst thing she's ever done, what I mean? So
I don't know, hers I just didn't get as much
as everybody else's.
Yeah, because hers happened when she was still in high school, and I mean, clearly the girl was still alive, so it's not there was too many bad consequences on her mind.
I think if you think about it, though, if you're in high school and you had all your nudes posted out, imagine.
Don't get me wrong, for that girl, awful.
Yeah,
for that girl, awful. But for her, especially the fact that no one knew it was her that did it,
which is crazy.
So it's out of all the other ones, I felt hers was more
very
tame.
mild. Yeah.
Which is also probably why it was so easy for her to be the first to go and make amends.
Yeah. How would you feel being in that girl's position, and it's fucking 7 years later, and
7 years later you're getting flagged down? Hey, by the way,
I sent your nudes out to the whole school.
Please forgive me.
Yeah, I'd be bitch, what? I'm take off your top right now.
Show me them titties right now.
Literally show me your titties. Because unfair. Show everyone. Post that shit on Facebook. I don't give a fuck. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram.
Whatever's popular at the time.
Yeah, Snapchat. I don't give a fuck. And pull out them titties, ho. And you know what? She did. She fucked Jamie.
She really did.
went fucking hard.
Bro.
That shit was crazy.
And then just to tell her mom she's moving out.
Crazier. Good for her. Good on her. She was.
They kind of
25.
I was saying that
they're 25.
Her. That's what it was.
Yeah, because she's I'm 25 years old.
It helped her kind of ground herself.
Yeah, not so timid on saying no. She like put her foot down.
Yeah.
So I think it definitely was good for her to be in the position they were all in, and I think it definitely helped her grow in character development, whatever you want to call it. But she was my least favorite, to be honest.
I'm not gonna lie, same.
She was kind of annoying.
Yeah.
I get the whole, follow the rules.
Bro, what
but
got me
like,
was her coming, be like, no, I have to do this right now. Like, bitch, you can wait till tomorrow.
I'm like, you really trying to die? And they almost got caught too. That's crazy
Exactly.
work. But I don't know. You know what though? Good on Ray for not doing it.
Exactly.
Good on him.
Even
I
though
couldn't
he
matter.
was still, at least, honestly, at least he was still there to bring them all back. Because
True.
you didn't ask this question. Do you think that they would have been successful bringing them all back without
Absolutely
him?
fucking not. Honestly, no. They were all so. Honestly, for being prepared to be doctors, they were not prepared at all, and I think that shows so much. I like on how they would be as doctors, because you're not supposed to be scared of these things. You're always need to be like 10 steps fucking um ahead, you know what I mean, especially if something like flatlining and bringing someone back to life. But you know what I mean, you have to like, it really shows how much they really kind of paid attention. But
we partially strayed away from the question.
What did we say? What was the question?
About their guilt. Like, that's why it's only partially strayed away.
Oh, do you think they felt guilty? Duh. I'm stupid. I don't think they really felt guilty. I think it was in the back of their mind for some reason. I think
Marlo probably definitely felt guilty the whole time because she had to like watch her back.
To be fair though, I truly believe that none of them gave a fuck until it was relevant to them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think her guilt was mainly not for that she did it, but getting caught.
Yeah. I could see that. Because Jamie didn't fucking, he has a whole ass kid. That he didn't fucking blink an eye for that bitch. He was fucking everybody.
He really was.
He really was. He was just out here pumping and dumping. And then Marlo, I don't think crossed her mind at all because she was too focused on her career. And I think you want to go as far as like covering your fucking shit up and then proceeding to lie about it to someone you like and stuff like that, and that you see as your even, like your, you know what I mean? And just like to continue to lie about it. I don't think that's guilt at all. And I think flatlining for them was probably the best thing that they could have experienced as people. And I hope that would make them more like perceptive about the people around them and what they do and their choices and that they make. But to the question, I definitely think they were only guilty because weird fucking scary shit was happening to them.
Like they were forced to be guilty.
Yeah.
That's like, if that didn't happen, I don't think Sophia would have batted an eye about sending someone's nudes when she was younger.
Yeah.
I don't think,
especially I think, 7 years later, like.
Yeah. I think, what'd you say his name was? Jamie?
Yeah.
I think he sometimes in the back of his mind would think about it, but definitely not to the extent where he would do anything about it.
Yeah.
Marlo just only cared about her career. So I think she definitely thought about it, but not in the I'm guilty for doing it.
Yeah, I think it taught her, like.
I think that's why hers was the scariest when she went under, because I think she does think about it, but not in the way of the guilt of doing it, but the fear of losing her career.
Another perspective we could think on it is maybe she felt guilty, but because she was still becoming, like, she did it for her career, she just felt guilty because she didn't want to do it again, like fuck up like that again. You know what I mean? So I think that maybe could be something that's reflected on there too. You know what I mean? Anything else on that question?
Nope, before we get sidetracked from that again.
I don't even know what the fuck we started talking
Bro,
about.
I don't remember and I don't know. I don't know how we got it. The messed up thing is, it wasn't even that sidetracked, but it was sidetracked enough to not be talking about the question.
Why are we like this today? Okay, last question. At the end, it shows everything is back to normal. Knowing the effects of flatlining, do you think they kept their abilities? So other than
So like, did they stay smart type of thing?
yeah,
Or you know what? What if it's more like a high? Like when you come down from the high, you lose like the feeling of the high. So what if now that they were able to like move past that and
they
move
lose
past
the ability to be smart.
yeah.
I don't know. I feel like they would like I kind of deep down really hope that they're still.
You hope they're still smart?
Yeah, because you doing all that flatlining for what? Just to not feel guilty? I just feel like if I literally died, flatlined, dead,
Yeah, but
cold.
your brain will start to function again after a little while.
But what
So
if
I
you
would
still keep
think,
the same abilities?
see, but they'll want to do it again then. So I think once, just like any drug, they got the high, it starts to go back down there. Oh, whoa, look, we're normal again. Oh, let's go flatline again.
But they never did it again. They
No,
never. And
but they
even,
could.
I guess, yeah.
Look, the question is not asking about the fact that they hadn't flatlined again. It asked, did they keep their abilities? I don't think so.
I don't think so either, but I definitely hope because that'd be fucking bogus if I flatline dead. On the floor dead! And I don't get to keep my smartness.
I feel like too though, like it didn't put enough emphasis on them being smart afterward. Like it did in the very beginning, right? But keeping the smartness and whatever, I felt like it didn't put enough emphasis on it, so I feel like they lost it.
Hmm. Part 2, come out. Hurry up. New
It's
movie.
been 8 years.
Good. Just kidding. Okay,
That was the last
honestly,
question?
yeah, that was the last question. I rated this a high rate. It was my first time watching it. I really enjoyed it. I really liked it. Um, I thought there was definitely some flaws, so I definitely give it an 8 out of 10. What do you
Okay.
think?
I was gonna give it a 7.
Yeah, I was gonna say 7, but I I think the overall like background of the story and stuff is
Like the
really
meaning.
yeah.
I feel that.
Yeah, because the ending was so cute. For a horror movie, these fucking movies are ending so fucking
Honestly.
like the Keller. The character development is
It was pretty nice for a horror movie. You're
yeah.
not wrong.
They're not your typical horror. Like at least this one is
This is more for like
suspense, I guess.
yeah, this is more for like the tame. I don't like gore. I don't like all that type of stuff. Like this is
Yeah.
the type of movie for you.
Yeah, like if you're easing into like horror, this would be
Yeah.
a really good
Like this is like
to
baby
start.
steps.
Yeah, it's like it's not paranormal, but it's kind of spooky.
Yeah.
You got something fucking strange happening. But
Yeah, I
I
recommend.
yeah, for sure.
Gotta watch the original one now to see how.
Yeah, I definitely want to understand like
Yeah.
what's the differences and like what made the first one like the different levels of maybe like the horror or like even the storyline and maybe it could be different. I mean, look at Pet Sematary, right?
Mm-hmm.
But all right, last but not least, our last one. So we chose The Lazarus Effect.
Pew, 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 pew.
Came out in 2015. I remember when this movie came out.
I do too.
I love this movie. I'm gonna just say this now. This is a 10 out of 10 movie for me.
You know, craziest thing. Last night was the first time I ever watched it, though.
Really
Yep.
crazy. This is probably one of the only horror, maybe not the only horror, but this is a movie my husband would sit down with me and watch.
Really?
Yeah.
I feel like I could see that because it's not like terribly scary.
No, I think this is definitely another one where you could ease into the
Yeah,
horror.
like I feel like it's not as tame as Flatliners,
No.
but it's a step above.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like you
Just beginner levels.
Flatliners is the baby steps, and then oop, look, I'm a toddler now and watching the Lazarus Effect.
You guys didn't see, but she's doing little feet with her fingers.
Stop.
Oh god, that's so funny. Okay, so I know I said this. Lazarus Effect came out in 2015. Sorry, I couldn't speak. So this movie is about some Reachers is crazy of me.
Bro, learn how to
can't
talk.
I'm sorry. You're my.
I can't help you every time.
Yes, you can. That's why there's two of us. I help you think sometimes, and you help me speak. Okay, we share brain, but we also share mouth. Okay. Shut up. No, we don't. Not like that. I'm married. Pearl. Every time.
Stop.
All right. Stop. Came out in 2015. Researchers achieve the impossible by reviving the dead, but after a successful experiment, Zoe, which is the main character, is killed and brought back to life along with an evil within her. Bum, bum, bum. I really like this movie.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed the characters.
Bro,
Donald Glover's in it.
I was gonna say I saw him and I saw
Donald Glover.
I was like,
The duo, and fuck, dude, the characters are spot on. I am
that girl looked
absolutely
familiar, but I don't remember from where.
I'll tell you from where. Let me make sure it's her though, because I don't want to be wrong. I know it's her.
A part of me kind of hopes you're wrong.
Olivia Wilde, right?
No,
Yeah, she's in.
not her. The younger girl.
Oh, the younger girl. Okay, let me see.
Yeah, no, I knew right away she was from House, and I was like, "Who?"
Oh, she's in Spiderwick Chronicles. She's a sister. The Moth Diaries. Emily. So she's in quite a bit.
Yeah, she is.
Horror movies. Crush. Oh, she's in Crush? She is. We seen that movie, didn't we?
Yes.
We recommended it, I
Yes.
believe. I think it was on our Valentine's, wasn't it?
Yes.
Or yeah, it was.
Yes.
Okay.
I like how I'm just saying yes.
Yes. Just yes. But yeah, I think the cast is really great. It was a really good movie. I enjoyed it. I rewatched it.
I loved it but hated it at the same time.
What?
Look, I hated it just because, again, like,
why are you bringing people up from the dead?
yes, because it's like, okay, same with Pet Sematary. You see what happens to the dog, and you think it's going to be better just because it's a human?
You just gotta understand the grief part of it. I don't think people are thinking at all about anything when they're grieving. Imagine I die right now and you resuscitate me. Would
Bro,
you do
I'm
it?
just dying with you.
That's dumb as fuck. You telling me you're not gonna bring me back to life?
If I can't do it the normal way,
hear me out. Right. Listen. But if I had the power she had, bitch, I'm fucking running this world.
Low key, yeah. You know what? Okay, no, we are both dying so that we can both come back like that.
Make sure you revive me first before you can. I feel like you're so dumb. You'd be like, oh, she died. I'm a,
and then there's no one to bring us back. You're gonna see me in the afterlife and be like, bitch, you were supposed to bring me back first.
Oh my god. I'm like, Alyssa, what are you doing here? Bring me back alive. Oh shit, sorry. You can't go back now. Oh my god.
Hold on, the door's not fully closed yet.
Dumbest boy in school. Oh god. I feel like that would be us. That would be the situation we would be fucking stuck in. We're so stupid.
This is what we need to have a third person there.
Or hear me out. You would probably think about so hard how you would try to, die, then you would just my dead body would just be fucking rotting at that point. I
Yeah,
got
but
bugs crawling in
how
my
long
eyes.
was the dog dead before they brought it back?
I don't know. They were pulling fucking frozen ass fucking things
That's what
out
I'm
of the
saying.
fridge.
Like, maybe I'll just tuck you away for a little bit.
Girl, put me in one of those freezers. They were pulling
Yeah.
the fucking animals. That's crazy work.
Yeah, just for a little bit.
A little bit. 10 years later.
Hey Daisy, how you doing in there?
I'm ready now. Live the whole life. I'm gonna come back. Why do you look so much older?
You're like, what up, bitch?
Is that gray hair? Were you stressed?
First of all, that bitch is gonna still be died, okay?
Okay. We can dive into the questions now. All right. Question 1, what do you think the connection from her, Zoe, her past has to do with her present / post possession? If it's possession, you know what I mean.
I don't know if it's possession.
I don't know if it's possession either.
Because like they showed that her brain activity was like fully on and it's not supposed to be. So I don't think it was possession. I think it was just her brain
there's
finally.
some sort of coming back from the dead where it's like there's because this is how I kind of took it, that there was already something kind of there with her.
Well, yeah, the demons of fucking killing people in, what was that, an apartment complex?
Yeah.
Yeah, so those demons were following her.
Yeah,
she
so-
constantly had the nightmares even before, you know, doing the experiment.
Yeah, so I think that kind of has in play. I wouldn't call it maybe possession, but I definitely call it on the lines of something possessing, like I wouldn't say like her character, but more of like in persuading her.
No, you want to know what I think? Because when what's her face? I don't remember the other chick's name, but when she went, like, when she was forced into the nightmare,
Yeah.
and she finally was able to go to Zoe as the little girl and found out that, oh, she lit the matches. What if that bitch was always crazy and she did it on purpose? So having
I'm
the
pretty
full
sure
effect,
that's what it was.
the full effect was her just being her crazy.
Her being a fucking crazy as hell.
Yeah.
I believe that 110%.
Yep.
I know that bitch did it on purpose.
Yep.
You can see it in her eyes.
Exactly. I was just about to say, you can see it when she looked at her. You did this.
So you think her her having those past experience and them doing like little flashbacks and shit, that's the connection to her being a crazy ass bitch.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's what.
And I think that the nightmares is her trying to be like, yeah, I'm so crazy. I'm coming to get you. And then her obviously thinking it's a nightmare. It's like, no, I'm not crazy anymore. I don't want to do
like
that type
battling
of stuff.
between.
Yeah, battling between like the good and bad in her. And then when she got the blee, 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 it was, I'm fully bad now.
The blee 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 is crazy.
First of all, yeah.
Like maybe like battling the person she is, like maybe like a split personality type of shit.
Like she's psycho.
I could see that 100%.
Yep, and the zaps made her.
Zaps is fucking crazy.
Did it not go zap?
Zaps is kind of crazy.
It went zap.
She
well, especially, first of all, she knows to take off her jewelry. Why didn't she take her ring off?
To be fair, I think it was in the sense of like hurriness. They were trying to.
Dumbass.
Bitches be dumb. Bitches be dumb. Okay, question 2, ready?
Okay.
All right. Zoe says she was gone for years, but in reality was gone for only an hour. Do you think this affected the outcome?
I don't think so.
No?
No. Because I feel like that bitch was crazy to begin with, so.
I guess if we put it in that perspective, yeah, but let's take that back real quick and think about, like, do we think it's like where she went is almost kind of like time and space? Like when you die, it's almost like time and space.
I mean, isn't that essentially how it goes anyway? Like, when you die, you're in a loop.
I mean, yeah, but like.
At least if you go to hell.
Okay, so if we think about it.
And she was going to hell.
Facts. If we think about it, like, on a real life, day-to-day thing, like, what truly happens to people when they pass away? Like,
I don't know, you want to find out?
Yeah, you ready?
But
Okay. 7 days later.
I was gonna say they just hear.
Let me keep my ring on and go get electrocuted.
They just hear the podcast. Beep, beep, beep.
Shut the fuck. Alyssa sits here for 10 hours, puts me in a freezer.
All right, you ready?
No, but I think maybe if they brought her back sooner, maybe the experience would be a little different because they had that serum in her for quite a while.
Do
Like
you
sitting
mean
in
like
there
bring back the natural way or with the serum still?
with the serum.
Okay.
Well, maybe like both because what do we think is different that could have changed the outcome? Because they had to wait for the.
I feel like if they could have revived her without having to go to the drastic measures of using the serum and doing the switch and everything, I feel like she would have came back maybe
an
normal.
hour, she said, was years.
Yeah.
So imagine just like bringing her back instantly and like what that does for the outcome. Maybe because she was out longer that her brain was able to fully function. Is that what that means? You know what I mean?
Maybe.
Does it maybe like in
Well,
a
I feel
reality
like the
perspective?
serum makes the brain fully function.
You think?
Yeah.
Like all of it though?
That's what it's seeming.
You know what though? When they did it for the dog lost like it didn't have, I think it was like cancer or something anymore.
The cataracts.
And then cataracts too. So
Mhm.
it could, I don't know, maybe it did like do something in the brain where like fully like fixed everything.
I mean, she could also hear their thoughts.
Which was fucking crazy.
Do you think the dog could do that too? Like, obviously, we can't know because they didn't give us a perspective of the dog.
You know what I thought was creepy though? Before she was even electrocuted or anything.
When the dog came into the room?
Yeah, but the door opened by itself and
Mhm.
it's just staring at her.
Yeah.
I feel like that
Did you start to hear the low growl it started to give?
Yeah.
Bro, it's like, do you know something's about to happen?
Yeah, like, does that mean the
What
dog maybe saw like the future or some
I was
shit?
just about to say, I think so.
That's crazy.
But it's like, instead of giving a warning, it was just being aggressive.
Maybe he was being aggressive for that reason. Maybe if they saw it as aggressiveness, but he was like, fuck no, this bitch finna kill everybody. Plot twist. Just kidding.
Now the dog ate all that food.
Maybe he was hungry. He was probably dead for a really long time.
That's what I'm saying.
He was really distraught. That dog was fucking distraught as fuck.
I'm not gonna lie, that was low-key sad.
It was, because he was just like,
I was like, oh no, that poor dog, what are you guys doing to him?
and then it was like eating all the food. He even ate the cornflakes. That was like on the top fucking.
Okay, nah, I think, because he was holding those. I think he's just blaming the dog on that part.
Oh, hell no.
Nah, the dog ate the rest of the stuff, but that bag of chips that she grabbed down, he was holding those to begin with. So he just went along with that story.
He said, I'm not high at all. What are you talking about?
Exactly, not because he had the munchies and he had those chips.
So, you still believe now that the time she was gone, maybe a different outcome? Or do you think because of the serum?
I think it's all because of the serum. Because I feel like if they could have brought her back naturally, that
it'd be different.
Yes.
Okay. Do you think the serum maybe had like some sort of, I don't want to say supernatural like forces?
I wouldn't say supernatural, but scientifical.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Yes.
Where it's like, you know how like scientists be doing fucking experiments and then they travel. Time travel and shit. Next question.
Hell yeah.
Okay. Last question. Zoe brings all the bodies to the same place, brings Frank back to life. Do you think she will do the same to the rest? And what do you think the aftermath will be?
I do believe she planned on bringing the rest back to life. I don't know about the girl though, but I think the team for sure.
I think she will do it for the experiment, and I think she would use all that power to manipulate having the serum used everywhere.
Just to create like an army of these people.
I think just speaking in like a scientist perspective, like for her, I think more for like a scientific use, being able to use all of that brain power, and then for them as a group to study it.
And especially because then their name will get out there.
Yeah.
Because that was one of the biggest things that they were so upset about when whoever came in and took everything, was that they're not going to know that they were the ones that discovered it.
Yeah. So, I think that was probably one of the biggest use for them to do. I also think it was kind of what I believe. I don't know if maybe because like the whole serum thing, like we've talked about, but what if they all did, like, came back differently? You know, like they don't have all the same forces, because I feel like hers were definitely reflected based off the fucking crazy person she is. So I don't know how the serum would reacted with everybody else.
Right,
Like I
like, it
think
could
the
react
dog was kind of
differently.
differently. Like if we think about how the dog reacted and how it kind of sensed that she was gonna be a batshit crazy bitch.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And he acted different. Maybe the aggressiveness, like I said, and the dog was like more of a warning.
What if they did that to the dog, like, just in general, and instead of it becoming aggressive, it just started, like, just talking?
Oh my god, I wouldn't fucking doubt that shit would happen. I think that would have took a definitely like weird turn if they made that happen.
It just, like, pops up, "Hey, what's up? I've been dead for, like, 5 years."
Shut the fuck up. That's crazy. But I think it'd all be different based off the person for sure.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, do you have anything to add to that? Do you want to talk about maybe, did you answer it? Am I fucking on crack?
To be honest, I can't remember.
I
We've been
can't
talking
remember.
about so much
Oh my god.
that I don't remember what we say until I listen back to it.
Why are we like this today? It's been a fucking weird day. All right, well, I guess that's it. Do you want to talk about what we're doing next weekend?
So next week, we are going to do Related to the Killer.
What?
Yes! Would you like to tell us what movies we're going to be doing?
Yes, I can. So we are going to be doing Halloween. Sticking to a little bit of the originals because I feel like those are the most obvious ones. We're going to be doing Scream 2. Texas Chainsaw 3D.
Woohoo!
And a newer one, which I'm super excited to talk about, by the way, is Five Nights at Freddy's.
Yes. Ooh.
So, really exciting. I cannot wait to talk about who's related to the character and what makes that story like more interesting about it.
Most definitely.
And yeah. Do you have anything to close us out on?
If you get all of your brain functionality, don't be a psycho crazy bitch.
Oh, big facts.
If you decide to flatline, go and make amends with anyone you wronged right away.
How about this? Don't wrong people.
Yeah, you know, that's probably a good that's a good starter. And don't
be a bad person.
Don't bury anyone in weirdo cemeteries.
Yeah, especially when kids are walking down there with a fucking mask and a dead dog.
But other than that, we'll see you next week.
All right, terrifying talkers. Bye. We're so funny. I love it.
Midnight creeps and shadows fall, whispered secrets through the walls, ghostly